you don't already know, my name is Kevin G. Nicholson, and I am the host of this YouTube channel, and you are watching Dr. Daydream. Today, we're going to be talking about the 3 things I wish I knew before releasing music. Let's bring that down. That, of course, is a track from my newest album, Another Freshly Shaved October, which is currently on all the streaming services. So please go look that up, because I am not an expert on music production. I am simply here to share the 3 things I wish I knew before releasing music commercially. And I want to start with let's start at the beginning of my commercial music releases. Now, I had always been interested in new age and instrumental works pretty much all of my life. When in the 80s, I was very fond of Tangerine Dream and Guitaro and the Alan Parsons Project, and things that had a very little vocals, but a lot of atmosphere. And I liked having no one speaking to me in my head in the background. So when I would practice karate, or when I would do things that were, gardening or stuff around, I'd like to have it playing in the background. And I've always been fond of it. And then as I aged, I discovered I had a love for music, which I had known, but I didn't realize I actually had the ability to play. And a buddy of mine, a once buddy of mine, had taught me how to kind of start with the basic chords of guitar and how to practice. Well, I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. But that still wasn't my passion in life. And it's still not my passion in life, to be quite frank. It's part of the tools of my arsenal as Kevin G. Nicholson, the artist. I thought I was going to be the next Steven Spielberg, but I was not equipped for that. That's all right, because you have to adapt as life changes. And it was quite the journey. I tried shooting a couple of indie movies in my youth. They didn't do very well. I'm constantly taking things onto my plate that I'm ill-equipped to handle. I bite off more than I could chew often. So, a lifetime of learning this lesson made me a little more tentative going into the music aspect of things. As time proceeded, I got distracted, because life does that. You get a job here, and suddenly your time disappears, and you can't devote your efforts into your dreams, into your commercial products, or into your art. And so that derailed me a couple of times. And but with doing the indie movies, it essentially taught me a love for still photography, because you can get a shot, and as long as that one frame looks good, well, you don't have to worry about the other 700,000 frames around it. And so I'd kind of pulled back from movie making to a still photographer. Well, which was great until everyone got a camera on their cell phone. Modern technology moved very quickly, so commercial photographers have a tough time getting work unless they already have a niche carved out for them, whether it be school portraits or, if they're really, really good in one niche. That word. We'll get back to that word later. Then, it's very, very hard to stand out, especially when everyone had a camera. Before, it was who were you going to call? You were going to call the guy with the biggest, latest camera. and then everyone automatically had it by default. So my photography business went from doing very, very well to collapsing in 2007, 2008. So, Kev, what does that have to do with music? And what does that have to do with Spotify? And what does that have to do with these people? Well, after my last relationship ended, or at the same time my last relationship was ending, I discovered this program which allowed me to convert the little musical knowledge I had directly into digital format. And I'm like, okay, this is real neat. And started practicing with it. Well, after my ex finally got out of the house, she hated my music. I was able to start composing. And so with the old guitar and my handy-dandy computer, I was able to produce a couple of albums. And I was like, okay, well, when I did it, I was interested in recreating the Alan Parsons Project, Moody Blues, Tangerine Dream sort of sound. I wanted a lot of instrumentals, and I said, you know what, I'm an all right singer, but let's see what we can do with this. And I produced a couple of albums. And here's where the three things I wish I knew before come into play. Because, all right, you know what, we won't get to that yet. So now, after I first released them, I started making money. A very, very little bit of money. I was just, it was like 4 or 5 months, and I think I saw $5 in my distributor account. But I was happy. I was like, hey, $5. That's $5 I actually got. It's $5 more than I had. And, it's like I already made the music, so maybe that'll be $5 every month. And I thought, okay, that's a thought. And that means you can maybe get on bonus $100 a year or something like that. And it also establishes me as a professional musician, because the moment that you get paid for any job, you're kind of a professional at it because someone's willing to, give you money for doing it. So it was a really good experience, because when that first trickle came in, it encouraged me to keep going. And part of this process was what you're watching me right now is YouTube. I had making a few goes over the years to try to see if I could earn money on YouTube, and I'm still not there yet. I get over 1,000 videos up, and I've been watching so much material. And here's the thing, is there are experts in these fields that you can actually, you can find them on YouTube, and they'll teach you big things. So I guess, you know what, I'm going to give you some bonus advice for what it's worth, because there are 4 people who have been very influential on me in regards to, I keep going back to their channels to get more information on how to better my channel, or I go to their channels to learn techniques, how to make my music better, how to, better ways to stream, better ways to improve. And the first one is, let's start with getting this live stream up. OBS is a program in and of itself that allows me to live stream with you and to put the graphics up and to pull different clips in. And I didn't know anything about it. Every software has a little bit of a learning curve. So I looked up, well, how do I do this stuff? And that's when I came across Michael Feyre Jr. And he's the man to go see if you have questions about OBS. I watched a bunch of his videos from beginning to end a bunch of times to make sure, and you go through step by step, pause, go through step by step, so you take all the information in. And I did this with in regards to getting this up. And here we are. And you can kind of hear me, and it looks halfway decent. And we get to enjoy the moment because that guy shared that information via his YouTube channel. And then the other people that I was looking about in regards to the YouTube end of it was a creator called Nimmin. And all of these descriptions are in the link below. You can go find their YouTube channels and look for yourself. And he's how to grow your YouTube channel guy. And wow, the amount of information that they cover, YouTube is difficult. It's when I first started, I'm like, well, I'm already doing this sort of stuff anyway, so I'll just throw my stuff and maybe something will hit. But I didn't realize there was a little more of a craft to the YouTube thing too. And Nimmin and vidIQ, although I don't subscribe to vidIQ, I tend to go back there for knowledge, and I do tend to watch their videos a lot and go, oh, maybe I could apply this to my strategy going forward. And so he's another guy, if you're interested in YouTube, that's definitely one of the places to start in regards to growing your channel. Then there's the music end of things. Now, the two big speakers on regards to music, promotion, and Spotify is Daymian Keyes and Andrew Southworth. And both very well-spoken people. They know their stuff. Andrew Southworth primarily covered conversion ads, putting up ads on Facebook in order to bring them to your Spotify platform and pages, and trying to grow an audience that way, which I listened to, but I was always reluctant to because that involves, investing the capital in ads and stuff like that. And I still, to this day, don't feel like my work is there, where I'm willing to actually put forward a bit of money. I have a few passion projects that are coming up that I may want to pull the trigger on that, but I don't feel like I'm there yet. And then, so Andrew Southworth was the one who was doing the YouTube trend, not the Facebook ad courses. And then Daymian Keyes, again in the description below, he's a person who talks more about Spotify for the sake of, if you're releasing music, what are music release strategies, how you should be looking at it as you're going through and you're creating your catalog. And I thought all of these things were integral in me improving my craft and getting better. And although I haven't cracked the YouTube thing yet, I have had over 1 million streams on Spotify. And I am making not a living wage, but I'm making a wage from my music. So technically, although I'm on the low end of the gene pool, I'm still a professional musician who's getting paid for my work that I put out. Now, let's get to the 3 things that I wish I knew before releasing music commercially. All right. Where is it? Oh, goodness. That's right, I resized it. Okay. Number 3. First thing I wish I knew. Longer isn't better. When you're a musician and you perform on a stage, there are many times when you have to stretch it out. Go, hey, keep the audience entertained before the next act happens. Or you can go on 20-minute jams. Oh, sounds like the neighbor's barking. And the audience is there. The audience is, they're in the beat, and you can dance with the jam. And that doesn't fly as well on streaming platforms because you don't get paid for how long your song is. You get paid for how many times people listen to that song. And that means, despite my original, the original like 13 albums I did, the first 13 albums I did, they were generally like 10 songs each. And I had them real long new age tracks that were just floaty, folly, diddly. And but through researching with all and listening to all these guys, I realized, okay, no, I really shouldn't be giving away, all that spare time. Let's concentrate on shorter tracks. And I went back and I started breaking down these huge long tracks and composing brand new stuff in much shorter format. And almost immediately, I was in the ballpark where I felt like, okay, this is a step in the right direction. It didn't make me rich, but it wasn't $5 a month. It was kind of like $100 a month. But still, that's pretty substantial. And that number has been ebbing and flowing. I think the most I've gotten in a month was like $400 or $500. And the least I've had since then was like a couple hundred. So, if that gives you an idea, and still, every month. So that's, longer isn't better. Don't stretch it out like you were doing a live show. Because, if you got an audience and they're already there and they want to have fun, that's great. But if you're doing it for something that's going to be released on Spotify, yeah, not so much. Okay, let's get to son of a... I did it again. That's all right, Life is a learning process. Number 2, song titles count. They do. I'm a silly man. And so I have... as I was enjoying the process, I'm like, okay, let's think of goofy names for songs. And a direct correlation, and I mean, if you don't think this is true, you can argue the point, but I think I have empirical evidence. The sillier the song title, or the more unique the song title was, it garnered more attention. As with, the music that I was producing, which is becoming more innovative, and I was trying new things and new effects and, new combinations of instruments and feels. But that goes with it, from the album, the album title to the album design to all that stuff. It counts so much more than just the sine wave. I mean, the sine wave is very important. And you really got to go back to the core of the music, because if the music ain't there, then you're just grinding out. You might as well give it to AI. So I've been expressing from the heart. I believe it or not, I have a heart. I'm too much of one, some have said. So that's my second. The second thing I wish I knew before is the song titles count. Be creative. And here we go. Get that. And let's see if number 1 is on track. No. All right. And the number 1 thing I wish I knew before releasing music. Art versus craft and the legacy. And when I say this, it's, are you doing it just to try to make a few bucks? If so, there are people who are way more, who are going to put way more effort into it than you are. So if there's no art to it, then why are you bothering? I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of YouTube channels that'll tell you can do it, with AI. Why would you want to take yourself out of the equation like that? But that's my opinion. The art being able to play music and understanding chords and beats and accents and stuff like that. Everyone's got different levels of ability in that department. My brother's a professional musician. He plays in Vegas. Much smarter than I am in regards to all that. And he has an ungodly amount of songs at his fingertips. But the songs that other people have written. He has very few of his own work. Of unique work that's just him. So in the end, I'm sure he'll be remembered as a great pianist because he's fantastic. But as a musician, that's the art versus the craft and the legacy. The legacy is, well, why are you putting your stuff out? Well, mine's a form of self-expression, but at the same time, I mean, that expression is, this is where he gets a little zen, where I believe that energy goes out, that music goes out, and it does impact the world, hopefully in a positive way, because that's what I've been shooting for. And that's something you have to think about anytime that you go into it. Is like, do you have even a loose framework to go from and go, okay, well, how's this going to run, and what's the feel of it, and does it tell a story? And the craft to be able to put that together in short songs, so when it is released, it goes out like like a program. Where you go, okay, this is Act 1, this is Act 2, this is Act 3. Low points, high points. So that's the top thing that I wish I had known before going into it, because I was just playing and recording, and then doing a song at a time. As things have gone on, they're getting more themed, and I believe this is a self-evaluation, that the art has been enhanced through honing the craft in the direction of the legacy of what I would like my body of work to look like as a collection as I move forward. One of my personal what's the word I'm looking for? One of my personal goals for this coming year is I've released 22 albums in the last 3 years. And I want to make that 25 before the 2024 is out. I would like to get my 25th album out before June. That's my goal. And I believe that's reasonable. I believe that's within my ability. I don't think that's taking on too much. But those three things, I believe, are very, very important as you go into it. And it kind of gives you an idea of where I've come from as a musical artist, or as a visual artist, or as a YouTube artist. Damn it, I'm an artist first. And if I can learn enough stuff, maybe I'll get enough watch hours to, make a few hundred a month off YouTube too. They keep saying it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And, in regards to YouTube, I've been at this for 10 plus years, although very more seriously in the last year. And as a musician, releasing commercially, the last 4 years. So it with less effort, I got somewhere on Spotify where all of the effort that I'm pouring into YouTube isn't being as quickly rewarded, and a tiny bit discouraging. Little tiny bit. But that's okay, because I'm still learning. And again, all of those people I mentioned before, you can find links to their YouTube pages in the description below. I would encourage anyone, if there are any questions or anyone wants to collaborate in the next year, a lot of stuff is going on. And it's going on pretty soon. The winters, we got a couple more months of winter, and then the year really starts. And maybe, hopefully, wouldn't it be nice if we had world peace by then? You never know. Things might get a little better. People stop bombing each other. Don't bomb each other. I know they piss you off. They piss me off, but you can't bomb them. Well, they started. Well, look, everyone take a step back. Is there any way we can all move forward and coexist, if not harmoniously, at least civilly? Something I will probably never know the answer to. But you can never tell. You can never tell. And that, you know what? That's not bad. I think I'm going to chop this up, and then I'm going to do a version of this as a long form. So, it is January 16th, 2024. My name is Kevin G. Nicholson. I am the host of this YouTube channel. You've been watching Dr. Daydream. And I think it's time. It's time for me to move on in my personal journey. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I hope this was somewhat helpful, if not subtly entertaining. And this has been Dr. Daydream. See you soon.